Good morning to you. Thanks for clicking on the special Monday edition of the US video forecast for today. And we've seen a weekend of water spouts, we've seen a weekend of record heat, as well as a very wet pattern across portions of the Midwest and the East. Now the East, after a few days there last week, seen some pretty heavy rain. That eased off over the course of the weekend, and we've seen the heaviest of the rain hugging right along the Atlantic coast, and as well as over towards the Ohio Valley. In between, we've seen slightly drier conditions and pretty warm conditions as well. Temperatures rising into the upper 70s, even into the lower 80s. But the fact that the dew points have been high in the towards 70 degrees, we've seen a very humid, almost summer-like feel of the air across the I-95 corridor, for example. Further west, it's been hot, and it's been sunny across portions of the Northern Rockies. We've seen temperatures once again yesterday bump up into the low 90s for places like Glasgow, Montana, and that heat is actually going to get trimmed back over the course of today. The reason being is we've got a new storm system pushing in from the Gulf of Alaska. It's going to take aim at the British Columbia coast, but the thing is as well, we've got that rain as well as pretty windy conditions along the Pacific Northwest coast of Washington and Oregon. What that's going to do is it's going to trim the high pressure, the heights in the high pressure further east. So with the temperatures being in the low 90s, we're going to be seeing temperatures more in the 70s as opposed to the 90s across places like Montana. I think a couple of days ago we've seen a high of 101 degrees in Boise, Idaho. That's way above normal for this time of year for sure. But it does appear as if we're going to see eventually the upper level low pressure system that's been causing the cool weather, the rainy weather, and that will eventually start to push eastwards, and it's going to be the Pacific storm system that will eventually kick this offshore by probably mid to late week. So although temperatures will once again be quite warm, quite muggy along the east coast, not much rainfall, that rainfall is going to be further towards the west. Eventually, all this weather, folks, is going to get pushed towards the east coast. So Tuesday and the Wednesday, expect a pretty messy commute and quite miserable conditions. The temperatures that are in the 80s today along the east coast will eventually drop into the 70s, perhaps even the 60s by about Wednesday, as this batch of weather that's been dominating the Ohio Valley eventually moves across the I-95 corridor. So cities like Boston down through New York City, Philadelphia, Baltimore, DC, you expect some wet weather Tuesday into Wednesday, and eventually all this will kick out, folks. Eventually it'll all kick out, and in the meantime we see the warmth that's been dominating the Northern Rockies. That will push into the Central Plains. So a terrific Tuesday and Wednesday ahead for folks across the Central and Northern Plains, and eventually we will see a change to a more settled pattern, hopefully by later this week along the eastern seaboard of the United States. So thanks for clicking on. Hope you have a terrific Monday and week ahead, and stay tuned to the blog for the latest updates as always. Bye for now.